4. Sentences, types, structures, and function. The elements of sentence. Sentences must be communicated clearly and follow the certain pattern. We always include the tone parts of the sentence in our writing, the subject and the predicates, to make a complete sentence. Subject. In a sentence, the subject performing the action can be noun or noun phrase or noun clause. To examine the sentences, grammar experts have determined the three kinds of subject, which is the complete subject, simple subject, and compound subject. Words that tell whom or what the sentence is about and usually found before the verb. For example, the till tree swing in the wind. The example of the complete subject, the till tree. And the next is the simple subject. The word tree is a simple subject. Simple subject can be in a main noun or pronoun, being talked about in a sentence or the keyword, or in the complete subject. And the compound subject is consists of a two or more subject joined together by conjunction. Example, the sturdy young man and the child didn't get along very well. So that is the example of the compound subject. So let's proceed to the predicates. And predicate is a part of a sentence or clause containing a verb and stating something about the subject. It can be categorized as a complete predicates, complete predicates, and compound predicates. It can also include the object, complements, and adverbals. A complete predicates in a sentence includes a verb that tells something about the complete subjects. Examples: Jonathan father makes shoes. Make shoes, that is the complete predicate. And so let's then proceed to the objects. Objects, it can be a word or a group of words which function as a noun, and each type of object can be classified as a complete, simple, or compound object. An object in a sentence is considered the receiver or the action. Examples: Leslie dropped the ball, or she ate the cake. And this is the three types of object based on their different function: the direct object and indirect object. Second and the last is the professional object. Direct object, a word or phrase that receive in action of the verb. Example: Sandra wrote a poem. So what did Sandra write? That is a poem. And the indirect object, the word or phrase that receive the direct object. Example: Sandra gave me the poem that she wrote. So who did Sandra gives the poem? So she gave it to me. That is the example. Professional object, a noun phrase or pronoun that follows a profession and completes its meaning. Example: I wrote on the wall. So where did I write? So on the wall. Next is the complements. These are words that complete the predicates by describing a noun in a sentence. Linking verb are followed by a complete complement to a form of complete sentence. So this is the four kinds of complement: the subject complements, object complements, and adjective complement, and the last is the verb complement. Subject complements functions as a noun, pronoun, or adjectives. It comes with a linking verb and tells something about the subject of the sentence. Three kinds of object of complements. The predicates nominative, which appears with a linking verb and renames, identifies or explain the subject of the sentence. Examples: the new president of the company will be Dana. So Dana renames as a president. That is the example. And the next is the predicate adjective. This is adjectives that appears with a linking verb and describes the subject of the sentence. Examples: the spread of the virus seems uncontrollable. So, uncontrollable describe of the spread of the virus. The third example is the verbal complement. Verbal complement is a adverb with a linking verb and tells something of a place. Examples: Nelson is in the market. So, market tells the adverb of a place. And next is the adjective complement. It usually comes after a direct object to rename it or tell what it has become. I colored my drawing a yellow. It is an object complement which modifies the direct object with either by describing it or renaming it. So the other examples, the people call him a boss, and that's other examples. And the adjectives complement, that the third examples of complements, functional parts of a sentence that completes of a complement. The adjective, it can be noun clause or professional phrase. Example: I was happy that she was chosen. The example of noun clause, that is she was chosen, that is the example of noun clause. And I am very worried of the situation. And the example of professional phrase, that is the situation. That is the example. And the last is the verb complement. Refers to direct and indirect object. Other use, it refers to a complement happening after a linking verb and a subject complement. The complement must give some information about or description of the subject. And examples: Granny roll all her money. So the example of the indirect object, that is Granny left, and the example of the direct object, that is the money. And both are, that is a verb complement. That's all.
Good day everyone. For today's video, I will be reporting kinds of sentences according to its use or function and kinds of sentences according to structure. First, I will be reporting about kinds of sentences according to its use or function. Writing involves different kinds of sentences. These are declarative sentence, imperative sentence, interrogative sentence, and exclamatory sentence. Declarative sentence tells or expresses a statement, an idea, or opinion which ends with period. So, declarative sentence, kuno daw is kanang mag-express siya sa iyang statement o ang iyang idea or opinion. For example, I want to learn how to create a web design. It is a statement, so it is an example of declarative sentence. Antonio is a good web designer. It is an opinion, and it belongs to declarative sentence. Imperative sentence gives a direction or an order, command, request. Ang imperative sentence maghatag siya direction or order or command, request, or kanang mga sugo ana, like for example sugo. It may end with a period or an exclamation point depending on what is the situation. So kani siya nga sentence mag-end kuno daw siya og exclamation point nagdepending sa situation. For example is, clean up to your room. Please move your chair. Move is with exclamation point, which is a good example of imperative sentence. Exclamatory sentence delivers strong feeling and ends with exclamatory point. This feeling can be feeling of anger, happiness, and excitement. So, exclamatory sentence kuno daw is kanang with feelings ang pagka-create sa sentence. Nadal kuno siya exclamatory point sa end or kanang na padamdam nga sign. This feeling kanang mag-express of feelings. Example is, what a wonderful day it is. So, that is the example of exclamatory sentence, and it ends with exclamatory point. There are some exclamatory sentences which may seem asking a question but are still considered exclamatory sentence because of the words behind it have strong emotion. For example is, can you believe that? Look what you've done. So those are part of exclamatory sentences because of the feelings when you are asking. So, can you believe that? So, na siya emotions, then napod siya kanang na more kag nag-ask, pero na siya nag-ask, nangutana ka, pero na siya exclamatory sentences, ay na siya exclamatory point. So, that is the example of exclamatory sentence. Next will be interrogative sentence. Asks questions and ends with the question marks. So, interrogative sentence is kanang mangutana ta, di ba? Kung mangutana ta, naging na siya question mark kay because nangutana man ta. It usually answers sentences that starts with 5 W's. So, the 5 W's is who, where, when, and other, and how, and do. So that is the that is usually answer sentences with who or with 5 W's and how and do. Example is, when are you coming home? Diba nangutana man ta. So sa last ato is na siya question mark. How did you get the virus? So we are asking. So na siya question mark. And that is the end of kinds of sentences according to use and function. Next will be, Next will be kinds of sentences according to structure. Simple sentence consists of one independent clause. The independent clause contains a subject and a verb expresses a complete thought. Examples: I love going to the mall. Sully loves visiting the park. So that is the simple sentence kanang nag-consist kuno siya og independent clause. The compound sentence consists of two or more dependent clauses joined by a conjunction or semicolon. Alone each of these clauses from a sentence. Examples is, I love going to the mall. Sully loves visiting the park. These even coordinating conjunctions are for, and, nor, but, or yet, and so. And we can call them as fanboys. Complex sentence comprises the independent clause and dependent clause. The dependent clause starts with a subordinate conjunctions and consists of a subject and a verb of the subject but does not have complete thought. Independent clause, subordinating conjunctions, dependent clause. She failed the course because she didn't know she didn't show up the class. Some of the subordinating conjunctions are although, because, that, how, till, as, after, since, until, than, when, before, where, if, while, whether, and though. The 5 basic relative pronouns are that, which, whom, who, whose. The compound complex sentence consists of at least 2 independent clauses and 1 or more dependent clauses. Independent clause, subordinating conjunction, dependent clause, coordinating conjunction, and independent clause. Cheryl didn't appear in the show because she was so sick, so the people were disappointed. So that is the that are the kinds of sentences according to structure. And that's all. Thank you.
I know that you're drunk. Yeah. Tell me what you want after this club.
You know you're not,